Live from WRAL News headquarters in Raleigh, your number one source for local news. WRAL News, coverage you can count on.
Following our coastal low this morning, it is bringing rain to our northeastern counties, but I'll show you why we may not see that much in the Triangle.
Brothers in court. Today, the men accused of killing a Wake County deputy will be in a courtroom. The new development ahead of their trial scheduled for next year.
And AI in schools. Wake County school leaders are meeting today to talk about their policy for the classroom, how Amazon will be part of that discussion. It is 6 o'clock on your Tuesday morning. We love that you're joining us for this discussion of news, weather, and traffic. We'll get you what you need to know to get your day started. I'm Renee Chu.
And I'm Chris Lovingood. In terms of will you need an umbrella today? Well, let's talk to Elizabeth Gardner about that. There was some conversation about things kind of developing overnight. Where does it stand so far?
So we do have rain here in our north and eastern counties, and that's where we still have a flood watch that might get dropped. We're definitely going to see some rain across the viewing area, especially from the Triangle area northward and eastward. But it just doesn't look like we're going to see a lot of rain in the Triangle at this point. We have a system sitting offshore that may be blocking some of the moisture from coming inland. I'll explain more about that coming up. Our northeastern counties, around 60% chance for rain, but around the Triangle, we're probably looking at maybe 30 to 40%. We take a live look at Fenton and Cary. It's nice and dry right now. It's cool. Temperatures are in the mid 60s, and it's pretty dry too. Our dew point's at 58. Our temperatures are going to hold right here in the mid 60s, and it will be breezy this afternoon. We're going to talk more about specifically how much rain we could see in the Triangle area and in the northeast coming up. Ken?
All right, Elizabeth, happening now in the WRAL Traffic Center. No incidents to report in Wake County, so all our major routes are delay-free. Isolate the Beltline. Usually we see a little bit of a jam up there in the southern loop of the Beltline. Nothing to report at this hour, so that's good news if you're getting ready to head out the door and these are part of your morning commute. Similarly, if any of these major routes are part of your morning commute over in Durham, 98, 501, I-40 westbound, all delay-free right now. You're getting ready to head out the door, though. Tune us in on the radio, 101.5 HD3.
Happening today, the brothers accused of killing a Wake County deputy are expected to be in court. Alder and Arturo Marin Sotelo are charged with the 2022 murder of Deputy Ned Byrd. WRAL's Ali Calabar is live at the Wake County Courthouse this morning. And Ali, this comes after their trial was scheduled for next year.
Renee, in the next few hours, we're going to see the two brothers back in court for another hearing. Here's a look at the two brothers, Alder and Arturo Marin Sotelo. About 2 weeks ago, a homicide status hearing confirmed a trial date for September 2026. The death penalty is off the table. They are charged with the murder of Wake County Sheriff's Deputy Ned Byrd. Byrd was shot and killed in the line of duty more than 3 years ago. Now, this hearing is set today at 9:30 a.m. We're going to have WRAL crews there covering it. We're going to keep you updated on WRAL. Reporting live in Raleigh, Ali Calabar, WRAL News.
Raleigh police are investigating this crash that ended in a fire overnight. This is a look from the WRAL breaking news tracker at around 11 p.m. This happened on Keystone Drive near Lynn Road. Only one car was involved, and the driver had minor injuries. We're trying to learn more about what caused the crash.
Covering Wake County this morning. Today, the future of AI in schools will be a big topic of discussion. Let's go and bring in Kelsey Coffey for this story. She's live outside the Wake County School headquarters in Cary. Kelsey, the school board is talking about its policy, and even Amazon is expected to be a part of this.
Yes, Chris, today Wake school leaders will talk about creating a new AI policy for your child's school. So they'll be here at the school board headquarters in Cary to brainstorm some new guidelines. Another step towards technology in the classroom. Amazon will present to school leaders this afternoon. A company representative will talk about how AI can help schools work more efficiently. Several other schools in our area already have an AI policy or references a commitment to using it and maintaining academic integrity. For example, some school systems specified that using AI for essays would be plagiarism. Wake Schools already encourages students and teachers to use AI. There just isn't a formal school board policy on it yet. Now, this is just the first meeting about AI for Wake County schools. The board is set to meet 2 more times a little bit later down the line. You can follow our coverage on that in the education section of WRAL.com. Kelsey Coffey, WRAL News, live in Cary.
A longtime community advocate and former city council candidate in Wilson is accused of killing 2 people. Wilson police were called out to Washington Street yesterday afternoon, and officers found 3 people there who were shot. Natasha Sutton and Avante Pender were killed. Dante Chestnut is now facing 2 counts of first-degree murder and an additional count of attempted first-degree murder. Chestnut is the founder of the local nonprofit, Our Wilson.
He comes to this community all the time to give back to his community, clean up the yards, help the old people out. It's devastating that something like this would even be brought to our attention.
Wilson police have not said what led to the shooting. Neighbors tell WRAL they heard arguing before the first shots were fired.
The man accused of killing Charlie Kirk is expected to be in court in Utah today. Prosecutors are set to lay out the charges against 22-year-old Tyler Robinson, you see here. Now, this is happening as the Washington Post is reporting the suspect appeared to confess to the killing in a small chat room online. And FBI director says that investigators found a text message that claimed he had an opportunity to take out Kirk. A vigil was held on Capitol Hill last night to remember Kirk, and now bipartisan concerns are growing about political violence. Senate Republicans are expected to be briefed today on security by U.S. Capitol Police.
Durham Mayor Leonardo Williams is voicing his support for Police Chief Patrice Andrews after she posted on social media about Charlie Kirk. The post, which is now deleted, says Kirk used divisive language, shamed black women, and tried to justify gun violence. Yesterday, Mayor Williams posted on social media saying that he, quote, supports her freedom of speech in her personal capacity, like I do those who have reached out and requested her resignation. Durham city policies also allow for the police chief to speak out on her own social media accounts. However, the city manager is still reviewing the post to determine if any policies were violated.
And Renee, today on Capitol Hill, FBI Director Kash Patel will testify before lawmakers in the House and Senate. And this is happening as Patel faces criticism over his handling of the Epstein files and the Charlie Kirk investigation. Sources say officials and the DOJ raised concerns after he discussed evidence on Fox News, and they fear that could hinder the prosecution.
This morning in the Middle East, plumes of smoke were spotted rising above Gaza. This comes as Israel launches a ground offensive on Gaza City. The Israeli military is expanding operations and is warning people to head south. Last month, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu ordered the military to capture the city, claiming that the area was a Hamas stronghold.
Back here at home, one of the people charged with killing a 10-year-old girl in a boating crash will likely stay in jail. A Chatham County judge denied Anne Marie Flanagan's request to lower her $1 million bond. Flanagan's case is tied to her boyfriend, Quentin Kite. He is accused of driving Flanagan's boat under the influence when it hit and killed 10-year-old Brooklyn Carroll. District Attorney Jeff Neiman questioned Flanagan's decision-making, implying that she was complacent.
There's no way that the owner-operator of that boat wasn't aware that this man was drinking on that.
He also pointed to previous car crashes where Kite was believed to be under the influence.
Governor Josh Stein is headed to Capitol Hill tomorrow. This comes as he calls for Congress and President Trump to approve a large new aid package for Helene relief. In Henderson County yesterday, Stein laid out more than $13 billion in recovery needs across western North Carolina. He said the Trump administration also blocked funds that were already approved, keeping that money from being sent to North Carolina.
West North Carolina has not received anywhere near what it needs, nor our fair share.
Stein may have some Republican allies in Washington for this fight, including Senator Ted Budd of North Carolina. Budd has been putting his own pressure on the Trump administration, holding up congressional approval for nominees, for example, to protest low levels of Helene aid.
Happening today in Johnson County, officials are helping people get ready for the upcoming elections. A series of voter photo ID events will get underway today. Workers from the County Board of Elections will be issuing IDs to voters who need them. And today's event will be at the Selma Library in Selma from 2 to 4 p.m. The next one is scheduled for Thursday at the Benson Library. Just a heads up, a portion of Wendell Falls Parkway, it's closed for an improvement project. The town of Wendell says the parkway between Wendell Boulevard and Cook Street is closed to traffic for the first phase of the project. Drivers should use West 3rd and Cypress Streets as a detour to and from Wendell Boulevard.
Campus alert. NC State Police are looking for a person who inappropriately touched someone. What investigators are still working to learn about what happened.
An interest rate decision. The Federal Reserve's two-day September meeting, it starts today. The change is happening to its board ahead of its important vote.
And we do have some rain in our north and eastern counties. That's where the bulk of it's going to be today. But there will be some light patchy rain around the triangle. And I'll show you when to expect it coming up.
Here are the winning Powerball numbers. We have 14, 15, 32, 42, and 49. The Powerball is 1 and the multiplier is 2.
As you get into your car, tune to WRAL News Plus on your radio. In Raleigh on 99.3 FM. In Durham, 96.5 FM. And everywhere on 101.5 HD3.
6:12, we'll take a look at the tropics. And this is where we've been watching a system for days now coming off the coast of Africa. This one has a very good chance of developing. And then a new wave coming off the coast of Africa. The National Hurricane Center just identified this morning with a 20% chance of development. But this one that we've been watching now for the last 4 or 5 days has an 80 to 90% chance of developing. The next name on the list is Gabrielle, and most likely it will get that name. We have, of course, an investigation going on from the National Hurricane Center. That means we get the forecast model plots. These are plots that are specific to hurricanes, so hurricane-specific models. And it's maybe a little bit concerning to see where that ends up by Monday. But take a look at this. This is a look at our upper-level winds, which would be potentially where a storm is. And notice how it zips off into the Atlantic. That's not a promise of what's going to happen, but at least one of the models keeps it well off the coast of the United States. We'll be watching it closely, Ken.
All right, happening now in the WRAL Traffic Center. Rather quiet start to your morning commute as we isolate the Beltline this morning. Usually that southern loop of the Beltline you can see and usually gets jammed up, and nothing to report, including that northern loop of the Beltline. And speaking of the Beltline, if you're coming in from Garner, Johnson County this morning from Highway 36 to the Beltline, delay free, and that southern loop of the Beltline, no delays to report at this hour.
All right, thank you, Ken. Police are looking for a man accused of inappropriately touching someone on NC State's campus. Students received a wolf alert message about that case late Sunday night, and police say they got a report of what they are calling non-consensual sexual contact. That happened near Carroll Residence Hall around 6:30 p.m. And so we spoke with a student who is alarmed this has even happened.
It's frustrating if you feel like, the people on this campus should do better, and people should always do better and not know what not to do. And so hearing about this at the school, it always sucks to hear when something bad like that happens. We should always learn to grow from things like this.
University police say they do not have a suspect, and they say they aren't sure whether that person they're looking for is even affiliated with the university.
Today, the man accused of killing the CEO of United Healthcare is expected to be in court. Luigi Mangione is facing nearly a dozen state charges, including murder as an act of terrorism. This is his first appearance since February. He's accused of killing Brian Thompson in December. He's also facing federal and state charges in Pennsylvania. He has pleaded not guilty.
Today, the Federal Reserve begins a two-day meeting, and signs are pointing toward it ending with an interest rate cut. Now, this is happening as there are legal battles over the Fed's Board of Governors. Yesterday, a federal appeals court rejected President Trump's firing of Lisa Cook. She will stay in her job for now. Trump attempted to fire her over allegations of mortgage fraud, but she has not been charged with any wrongdoing. In addition, the Senate has confirmed Stephen Mirren as a new member of the board, and he's a top economic advisor to the president.
And happening now here in the WRAL Live Center, we are following the latest on the Trump administration's tariffs. We now know that Democrats are planning to force two Senate leaders and Senate votes here to actually vote against the President Trump's tariffs, primarily on Brazil and Canada. So looking at the proposal, this is coming from Virginia Senator Tim Crane, who says that he'll introduce two separate bipartisan resolutions this week that would terminate the national emergencies that Trump declared to justify the tariffs that he has imposed on Canada and Brazil. We know that one of the tariffs would actually put an end to the 50% proposal on tariffs on Brazil. So, of course, this is something that we will continue to follow as those bills are filed this week.
Laura, thanks. President Trump is also expanding his efforts to crack down on crime in American cities. He signed off on the creation of a task force to reduce crime in Memphis, Tennessee. Trump says this will be similar to the increased law enforcement presence in Washington, D.C. He's received support from Tennessee's Republican governor, but has gotten pushback from the Democratic mayor of Memphis. Trump says he wants to do something similar in Chicago next.
Oh, it was a close Monday Night Football matchup in Houston. The Texans jumped out to a lead over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, but the Bucs drove down the field at the end of the game, scoring a go-ahead touchdown with just seconds left on the clock. Tampa Bay got the win, 20-19. Then you had the Las Vegas Raiders hosting the LA Chargers in the second part of Monday night's doubleheader. The Chargers offense was clicking early there, scoring 17 points in the first half. Now, the Raiders weren't able to get it into the end zone at all, though. They only scored 3 field goals. Oof. The Chargers took that game 20-9.
State efforts to recover from Helene will soon ramp up again in western North Carolina. This isn't the right video. The North Carolina Division of Aviation is going to build a new bridge along Highway 64 near Bat Cave. It was one of the first bridges repaired in the aftermath of the storm, but it still needs to be replaced. The bridge is one of the only ways Bat Cave can connect with places like Chimney Rock and Hendersonville.
All right, we got to get over to our weather maker that we're looking at right now. Meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner has been watching very closely how things have really developed overnight, Elizabeth. I know for a while we were saying it was going to be a weather alert day and then things kind of shifted. But what is on our way right now? So
we still have this low pressure system. It's just not likely to feed as much moisture into the middle of our viewing area as it looked like yesterday. And I'll explain why. It's still dragging moisture in. We're going to have pockets of rain at times, even in the Triangle area, but it's just not going to be steady to heavy. The heaviest rain still likely to be in our northeastern counties, and there's still a flood watch there. But I'll show you how much rain we're expecting coming up. We have this coastal low, and it's rotating, of course, counterclockwise, pushing rainfall into North Carolina. But there's also a situation where we're seeing some of that rainfall being blocked. Notice the rain is steadiest, or it was recently, up around, say, Halifax County, Northampton County, but watch how that's really fizzling out. Now, we do have a few showers across parts of Franklin County and Nash County right now, but those are very light and patchy, and we're not seeing anything in what we would technically consider the Triangle. So very light and patchy for us. We do have that flood watch that's in effect from Wilson northward and eastward, but again, it's possible that we would end up seeing that dropped. Here's what's going on. We've got a cluster of powerful thunderstorms producing a lot of energy and rainfall, and it's blocking some of that moisture from moving inland. So it's robbing us from seeing a lot of that heavy rain farther inland. So that is really what we're looking at. This is another way to look at it. This is what we call the water vapor imagery. This is not rainfall, but this is showing us where most of the moisture is in the atmosphere. And look at this. I mean, you really pick up that system sitting right offshore, and you can see that's where all the energy is, and very little of it coming inland. So that's where all the rain is likely to be, at least for the foreseeable future. You can definitely see that on Futurecast. Just some light patchy rain for us. This is going to be 11 o'clock this morning, and then on into the afternoon. It just doesn't really get much heavier. We do still have that flood risk from Wilson northward for today, and we have a flood watch in effect as well. But look at this. I mean, even up here from Rocky Mount northward, we're looking at maybe an inch to an inch and a half, but around the Triangle, it's going to be a quarter of an inch or less. So a much less rain than it was looking like yesterday. We're going to start to dry things out on Wednesday, and it looks nice and warm toward the end of the week with a high of 88. We do have some new developments in the tropics to share with you in just a little bit.
All right, that's what's happening now in the WRAL Traffic Center. We're seeing a little bit of congestion beginning to build on those Highway 64 westbound lanes coming in out of Zebulon this morning, but really nothing that's going to make you late at this point. For our friends in Roseville and Wake Forest, you're coming in on 401 out of Roseville, a couple of minutes delay. And if you're coming in on US 1 Capitol Boulevard from Wake Forest, just a 1 minute delay, so you'll get to your destination on time. Similarly, in Durham, very little to no delays on any of those major routes. You get ready to head out the door, though. Tune us in on the radio, 101.5 HD3.
Ken, thank you. Helping after Helene, how a nonprofit shifted its focus in western North Carolina to support people who lost everything in the flooding.
And job scam complaints. Five on Your Side is looking into a company under investigation and the red flags you need to watch.
If you see breaking news, have a story tip, or take video or pictures of the weather where you are, please report it to us. Go to WRAL.com/report it to send your video, pictures, or tip to our news team. A nonprofit group found a creative way to help people in western North Carolina recover from Helene. The Appalachia Service Project has previously provided permanent housing for people with the help of adult and youth volunteers from church in our state. Now they're addressing immediate needs like rebuilding or repairing homes destroyed by the storm. They finished 2 houses, handing over the second set of keys over the weekend.
The disaster recovery tends to be measured in years, not months. It's not fast, and it is a slog, and our hearts remain faithful to those that are still recovering. But I think it's good and right when you've completed something to step back every once in a while, celebrate.
Absolutely. Take in the small wins. The goal is to build 200 new homes. The first 100 are already paid for.
This What's Trending report, sponsored by Rug and Home.
One singer's plans for after he dies, and a chance to see Bad Bunny on the stage.
Yeah, Ken Smith is here this morning now with What's Trending.
Yeah, Chris and Renee, that posthumous album catching our attention, and the singer we're talking about is Ed Sheeran. He already plans for the release of new music after he passes away. Sheeran says the album will be called Eject. The album is in his will, and his wife will choose the tracks that will be included on the posthumous album.
I don't know. You think it's morbid or fascinating? He's certainly planning for the future in more ways than one, but he just wants to retain creative control.
Yeah.
He doesn't want anyone to mess it up, so he's leaving his wife in control of that.
I think it's fascinating. Big fan of Ed Sheeran. So listen, Bad Bunny has one more show on his Puerto Rico residency, and he is giving more fans a chance to see it. The rapper will be live streaming on Amazon Prime, Twitch, and the Amazon Music app. That concert will be this Saturday, September 20th.
And then I see this report that he has a world tour starting in November after that. He's going to be going to Europe, Latin America, Asia, and a lot of fans obviously love his music.
Very busy rapper.
All right, Lenovo is celebrating 20 years of business in the Triangle with a behind-the-scenes look at its hometown office in Morrisville. The company showed off technology like this right here. It's Daystar Robot. It's a 6-legged robotic dog. They also showcased employee amenities and shared updates on projects the company is working on right now. The Lenovo office in Morrisville is one of 2 global headquarters for the company. The other is in Beijing, China. Your time this morning is 6:26. Brothers in court. The men accused of killing a Wake County deputy are set to go before a judge today. What we know about their case ahead of the hearing.
And AI conversations. Leaders with Wake County Schools are mapping out a policy for the district, how it's expected to shape the future of your child's classroom.
And a coastal low is bringing some rain to our northeastern counties, but look at this in Durham, partly cloudy skies. I'll show you what our chances will be for rain right here in the Triangle.
And before we go, we want to get you a look at your winning NC Education lottery numbers. Good luck.